Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tea Time. This is the last day for our March Tea Time week. To go over what we did this week, we started with the cream Irish breakfast on Monday, and we made a cocktail together. We made a bit of a blood orange cream Irish breakfast cocktail, which sounds like a very odd mix. I agree, but it ended up being really, really delicious. So check that one out for not only what the tea tastes like and how you can add cream and sugar to make it your favorite cup, but also how you can make a cocktail out of it. Day two, we ended up doing hibiscus and we actually dyed some eggs with it. So go check that out because it does not turn out the color you think it will. And also, we talk a little bit about using it as a simple syrup, a hot tea, a cold tea, and just how you can use it in so many different ways. Day three, we did the Guancho milk oolong. We talked about how rare it was. We talked about the cute little legend behind how it got its flavor and just a little bit more about where it comes from. And then yesterday we did the hoji cha, which is my favorite unflavored green tea that we carry, a beautifully roasted leaf that gives off this nuttiness. It's very nice, very calming and delicious cup of tea. So you can check that one out to know a little bit more about what hoji cha means and how the leaves are treated to impart that flavor on them. Tonight, that brings us to our final flavor, featured teas, which all of these, by the way, are going to support Buffalo Stringworks. We did post a video where we were able to actually talk with them and do a little interview so that they could give you more information about what is their mission and vision, what events do they have coming up that you can support them in, and just be able to hear from them directly. Remember that all five of these featured teas will make money for them. We are raising money for them through these teas. You also can get a sample of all of them that still raises money for them. And then also part of our proceeds for our March event will go towards them as well. So our March event is on March 16th. It is from 7 to 8:30. We do about a 1 hour tea tasting from 7 to 8. And then we answer questions and hang out and talk about all the different flavors for the last half hour. The event is $25 for a basic ticket, which comes with all of the teas, educational information, tea filters. It's kind of everything you need, which is our basic kit, $25. And then we have our VIP kit for $40. That is actually twice the amount of tea. So you get a lot more tea with it. You get a tea gift. So in past months, it has been like an essential oil roller to go with our relaxation. Last month, it was a whole set of chocolates that you could taste from Dark Forest Chocolates, which is a local shop, since it was a chocolate tea tasting. And then we'll have a tea gift in the VIP one for March as well. So not only do you get twice the amount of tea and a tea gift, but you also have VIP status for the month following. And what that does is every week it gives you a different discount in the store. And then the entire month, you always get 15% off of those teas that we do at the event. So you're getting a ton of stuff for just $15 more. And part of the ticket price goes towards Buffalo Stringworks. So just to recap for the week, we will be posting about them more throughout the month. And if you come in store, there's tons of pamphlets there about them. There's flyers for their events and just more information. So just to make sure that I give them a nod and we talk a little bit about where all of this is, who we're supporting this month. Now, tonight we're going to do the Cochin Masala chai. We almost always do it hot, so I'm going to do it cold today. I'm going to brew this a specific way, but if you wanted to do it hot, I have my tea bag here. I put my 2 teaspoons. Remember, it's 1 teaspoon for every 6 to 8 ounces of hot water. But I took my 2 teaspoons because my cup is 16 ounces. Put it in. You're going to pour your hot water. It's boiling water or 200 to 212, right in that range. And you're going to keep it on for about 3 to 5 minutes. It just depends on how strong you like it. Do you want the flavors more pronounced? Totally up to you how long you keep it in. So you're just going to do that. And I would leave some room. So if you are doing a 12-ounce cup, I would only fill it to the 8, 9, 10 ounce. Leave room for milk because chais are meant for milk. They hold the milk very well. They hold sugar very well. So go ahead and get yours steeping if you want to drink it hot. If you don't want to drink it hot and you want to follow along with me, we are going to be using a little bit of hot water. And then I actually am going to do the rest with milk. So it's almost like a take on a chai latte because it's going to be milk. We're just not frothing it. But so I'm going to use milk in mine. I personally have my almond milk here. And then my sugar, I have to grab. Sorry about that. So I also have my sugar because sometimes you can sweeten them if you want to. So we'll be doing it both ways. We'll test it before and then we'll test it afterwards. So let me grab my water. First thing I'm going to do for us doing it the cold version, I am going to end up putting it in this mason jar, which is 16 ounces. But all I'm going to do for this is like 4 ounces in here. I want it to steep super, super strong, right? So I'm only going to do like 4 ounces of water to those 2 teaspoons, make it very, very concentrated, because then when we pour the milk in, that concentrated flavor will go through the milk and it'll all even out to make the right flavor profile. If you do this too weak, it's just going to taste like milk. So I'm going to go ahead and add about 4 ounces of water. And I'm going to let that steep for about 3 minutes. And then while that's steeping, we can talk a little bit more about chai. So first off, chai normally is made with black tea. So the base of it is going to be black tea, which is why we brew it at the same time and temperature as black tea. What makes it a chai is actually going to be the different spices that are in there. Chais differ in their spices, and so you have to look and see what the ingredients are. For this one, it's going to be your base of black tea with ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, and then here's where it gets a little different: black and white pepper, and then it finishes with clove and nutmeg. So your cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, clove, nutmeg, those are all normal. Pepper is also pretty normal as well, but the fact that this one has black and white pepper, the standout difference between this chai and the other chais that we have in the shop is going to be that this one, the pepper stands out. It's far more peppery, which gives it that spice pop. So if you like chais that are very spicy, the Cochin is the way to go. If you're like, I don't love super spicy chais, then I'm going to tell you, you want to go more towards the golden. That one's going to be a little more earthy, still have the nice chai taste, but not quite that spicy chai. So that's the first thing. So chais are made with black tea traditionally. Now we do have one in the store that is not made with black tea. It's actually made with rooibos, which is why we call it a ruby chai. So that ruby chai is because it's made with rooibos and it has no caffeine in it. So it's great for people who like chai but can't have caffeine. So traditionally black tea, but there are other variants that you can have. You can even find a green chai because truthfully, it really is that base tea, but it's the chai spices that you're really adding to it. Some other good information about this specific chai. These ingredients are from India, Kenya, and Thailand. And it is a small batch blended, and it has really nice, like I said, those peppery tastes. It's bright and really nice highlights of spice. And so this one, we've been talking the past 2 days about like the Guancho milk oolong. We talked about how it got its name because of where it's from and its flavor profile. Hoji chai yesterday got its name because it means roasted. So it tells you how they treat the leaves. For this, it's so interesting because Cochin Masala chai. The word chai in other languages means tea. So when we order a chai tea, we're actually ordering a tea tea. So that's the first thing. That means chai. Masala means spice or spiced. So when you often see a masala chai, it's a spiced tea, which is exactly what it is. For this one, you're adding that third word, that Cochin Masala chai. Cochin is where it's from. So it's always interesting to break down some of the tea names because it really can tell you a ton about what you're drinking. So the Cochin is where it comes from. Masala is telling you it's spiced, and chai is telling you it's tea. So it's a spiced tea from this region. And where Cochin is, it's actually the ancient city of Cochin is one of southern India's most important cities. It's for that reason that the city is sometimes referred to as the gateway of southern India. And through centuries, the city has come under the rule of tons of different people. And the city, they believe, is named, though, after one of its rulers. I hope I don't get his name wrong, but Kublai Khan, and gave it the name Kochi, which is a Chinese word, and Kochi was Cochin. So if you can go through that, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, and it's closer to Kochi than I'm pronouncing it, but really it's just to say that The name of the city comes from one of its rulers, and there was a ton of different people who ruled over the city. But over time, it's become a big hub of India and known as the gateway of southern India. The city first came to prominence during the Portuguese rule in the 1500s because it was one of the most powerful trading centers that there was. And after the Portuguese and Dutch came to rule, then the British came, and finally, after Indian independence, the Indians ruled. So that's a little bit of the history of the city, but I always find it interesting because a lot of times tea's names tell you so much about it. And so I am going to go ahead now, pull my tea bag. Ooh, I don't have anywhere to put it. Okay. So, if you smell it, it smells spicy. So I will say that normally I tell you if something has caffeine in it, which this does because it's a black tea, you often don't want to go hot to cold with it because you then bring out the bitterness that much more. I'm breaking my rule today for 2 reasons. 1, the sake of time. I want to make sure that you guys see how I make this. 2, to give you options, what I normally do. So when I'm normally making a chai latte, I've thought ahead. I want to have this tomorrow when I get up in the morning, or maybe have it with my lunch or in the afternoon. So what I tend to do is actually grab a cup, not with ice, but just grab a cup, put it halfway full with milk, and put my chai right in there, put it in the fridge, and let it steep overnight. When I wake up in the morning, that milk is imparted with all the beautiful chai flavors, but it's super strong, just like we made a concentrate. If I put 2 teaspoons in here, I'm only putting 6 to 8 ounces of milk. I'm not putting the full 12 to 16. I'm only putting half the amount of milk in there. And the reason is it's so much easier to thin out a flavor than add flavor. So if this is really strong, when I wake up in the morning, I don't like my chais to be 100% milk. I then add cold water, and I slowly add it ounce by ounce until it hits the flavor profile that I like. A lot of times people are like, whoa, tell me that one more time. I know it's a little weird, so I'll say it one more time. I grab a cup, I put 2 teaspoons of chai in it, in just like a tea bag, 2 teaspoons, but only 8 ounces of milk. Put it in the fridge overnight. In the morning, it's going to be nice and brown color. The flavor has imparted in the milk really nicely. Personally, I use water, but you could use milk for this. I then add water ounce by ounce until the flavor profile hits what I like, how strong it is, and also how thick it is with milk to water ratio. I throw some cubes in it and I head out to work. That's how I normally do it. Tonight, I'm doing it a little bit different because I don't have time for this to sit here for hours and have us do a time lapse. So what I did was I brewed the hot water. I only put 3 or 4 ounces in here, and I have my cup full of ice. What I'm going to do is pour this over the ice to help cool it. It will melt some of the ice, and that's fine. We just account for that liquid. Right. Honestly, it cooled almost immediately. This is cold. Wow, that cooled very quickly. But now you see how much ice we have here. I'm sorry, how much liquid. Then I'm just going to take my cold milk. It's right out of the fridge. And I'm going to add it to the top. Because remember, we made this strong so it can handle that much liquid. Look how pretty that is. It's so pretty. If I'm having a regular chai, sometimes I just put some milk in. If I want something that's more like a chai latte, what you're thinking about is when you go to Starbucks or Spot or any of those coffee places, Dunkin' Donuts, and you're getting stuff, it is so full of sugar and stuff a lot of the time, and that's what people like. So if that's the style of what you're looking for, throw sugar in it if that's what makes you happy. Personally, when it's cold, it's very hard to dissolve granulated sugar. So I have liquid stevia. So I just use this, and it's just, put as much as you want. I don't like my stuff very sweet. So I just do 1 squirt. That's all I need. And that's just like a tiny little, that's all I need. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. I was ill prepared. I did not have a spoon nearby. So we'll just use the bottom, the other side of a fork. So now I'm just stirring it up. And now, does that look like iced chai latte or what? We'll try it, of course. So good. For me, 1 squeeze of this was actually a little too much sugar. But I love this because it's not coming off bitter. I get the nice taste of the black tea, which you should because it's the base, but I'm getting those really nice notes of chai. I will say that doing it cold like this and having the milk took the edge off of the pepper. So if you're drinking this hot, you might notice that pepper in the back of your throat. I will say that drinking it cold, I'm not really noticing the pepper as much, which is a good thing because what I am tasting is like a really nice medley of all those spices without one sticking out over the other. Hot, the pepper sticks out to me. A lot of us, our staff did a tasting of all the chais and we all agreed that the Cochin was the most peppery, but you don't really taste it here. So hopefully this helped some of you because I know chai is one that people love. They're always asking questions about and they're not quite sure how to make it. So again, you have your hot one that you can do, just your normal cup, but leave an ounce or two room for milk because that gives it that creaminess that chai loves. You can add a little sugar in if you'd like. If you want to do it the cold brew way, you just take your cup, fill it halfway with double the amount of tea that you would normally use, pop it in your fridge in the morning, add milk or water to it until it's to your flavor level, add sugar if you'd like. And then this one, you guys saw, we used hot cup. We put in 2 teaspoons with 4 ounces of water, made a really nice concentrate out of that, poured it over ice, let the ice melt a little, which is fine. It probably added an ounce of water and filled up to the top with milk. What's nice is this is a 16-ounce jar. I use 2 teaspoons. It's the right ratio. So it doesn't matter how much your ice melts. If you're topping off with milk at the top, as long as this is full, it's the right ratio. So the taste is great. There's 3 different ways for you to have chai, whether you want it hot or iced. And also, if you ever get a huge cup of chai and you just can't finish it and it ends up sitting there, don't pour it out. Just put it in your fridge and the next day throw some ice cubes in it and go ahead and drink it. So chai is pretty versatile. I like it a lot. I like this one because it's standing up to the milk really well. You can still taste all the spices. And it's really good. So you learned a little bit more about what does this name mean? Cochin Masala Chai, all 3 words mean something. You saw different ways to prepare it. And we talked a little bit just about the history of the city of Cochin, or in Kochi. And I think that's everything. I don't have much more for you. We talked about Buffalo Stringworks. We talked about the event. Oh, I should say, what I didn't say earlier is what is the March event? The March event is marching into flavor. So we are going to do different flavor combinations that maybe aren't normal ones we see all the time. So something like a white grapefruit vanilla. I personally didn't know that vanilla and grapefruit went together. Something like a blackberry and sage. You always see fruit and herb, but that's when you don't see as much. So we are going to look at some of our more interesting flavor combinations, and then we're going to talk about how we perceive flavors in our mouth and how we can speak about flavors. So there's a tea chart. It'll say, okay, pick a word. Is it earthy, sweet, floral? Once you pick the word earthy, it's going to say, is it vegetal? Is it this? And then every layer you pick another word until you're able to really map out how you would describe it. It's earthy in a vegetal way with a floral aftertaste or whatever it might be. But we're going to walk through this chart that actually shows you how to describe your tea as well. So marching into flavor, different flavors, how we perceive taste, how we talk about flavors and describe them. Part of the proceeds goes to Buffalo Stringworks, as well as all the featured teas we did this week. I know I mentioned yesterday as well that there is a ton going on for the shop, and next week is our 1-year anniversary, which is really crazy and exciting. So make sure you stay tuned next week and keep checking in for different announcements, because we will be coming at you with some really awesome brand new stuff that you won't want to miss. So I won't say goodbye and see you in April. I will say good night, and I will see you next week for our announcement. Have a wonderful night and a great weekend, and thank you so much for joining us this week. I've had a lot of fun, and hopefully you have as well. Night, everyone.